Yo, it's your boy A1 back with another reaction video. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like, drop a sub for your boy. Link to the original video will be in the description. Let's get it.
Five people face charges after a drug bust in Irondale, and one of them is a popular social media influencer. 21-year-old Marqueris Holmes is charged with 2 counts of drug trafficking and possession charges. Holmes has over a million subscribers on YouTube.
From making the internet laugh with skits to getting caught up in federal raids and running a fentanyl operation, MK Slat's story is one of the wildest flips the social media world has ever seen. Before the
right?
viral videos, the jokes, and the skits, he was Markel Holmes, a kid from Alabama, where you either make money, get clout, or get caught slipping and end up a pack. But how does someone go from posting goofy-ass skits online to becoming a headline in a federal investigation? And was this downfall something he saw coming? Or was it all caught on camera before anyone even realized? Just look at bro. He's the last person I would expect to be running a whole drug ring. Today, we're breaking down.
That's the point. That's the point, man. See, people be thinking too hard in it though. They got a stipulation on what a drug dealer look like. You know what I mean? The persona, what he wears, how he dress. Trust me, I got firsthand experience of acknowledgement. You know what I mean? Of it ain't always what you perceive it to be. You get what I'm saying? Like anybody could be that guy. You just don't know.
On everything about MK Slat, the rise, the laughs, the empire, and the chaos that followed.
You, the small one, bring your lad here. This is my yard. Hey, you want to check in with me, homie? You get shanked, homie. Straight up.
Before MK Slat ever went viral, before anybody knew his face from Instagram skits or TikTok clips, he was just Markel Holmes, a regular YN growing up in Alabama, in an environment that didn't exactly hand out many exits. Alabama isn't Hollywood. It's not Atlanta. It's not LA. It's low-key a shithole. It's the type of place where everybody knows everybody, police move quietly, and opportunities feel limited unless you're willing to leave or hustle. From a young age, MK was surrounded by the same pressures a lot of kids from the hood deal with. Money problems, street influence, and that constant push to grow up fast. There wasn't much room for being just a kid for too long. You either adapt, crash out, or find something that separates you. And for MK, that something was personality. People who knew him early on described him as loud, animated, always joking, always acting out scenes.
These the same size as my... These are the same size. Yeah, the same size. Yep.
He wasn't the biggest, wasn't the toughest, but he knew how to command attention. In school and around the neighborhood, he was that dude cracking jokes, exaggerating stories, imitating people, basically turning everyday hood situations into comedy. That's important because comedy for MK wasn't just entertainment, it was survival. When you grow up around chaos, laughing at it becomes a coping mechanism. Instead of talking about
Hey, AI spitting right there. I ain't gonna lie, AI spitting right there for sure. That's real. No cap. Coping mechanisms can come in all different types of form, and definitely laughter and enjoying stuff just to get over the pain and ignore the other stuff going around you goes a long way sometimes. So it's like, that's just a natural one right there.
trauma directly, you joke through it. Instead of showing fear, you turn it into a skit. That's how a lot of YNs move. Humor becomes armor, but at the same time, MK wasn't growing up in a bubble. He still saw the street side early. He still watched older dudes getting money the fast way. He still saw guns, drugs, and respect tied to image. So even while he was the funny one, he was still absorbing the same environment, learning what gets you attention, what gets you respect, and what gets you labeled as him in the hood. And that's where things start getting tricky. Because when you grow up somewhere that doesn't separate entertainment from...
All right, let me say this before we go any further though. You don't know what that boy was doing just because he was funny, he was posting stuff on the internet. Don't mean that he wasn't living in a whole other double life when he was younger, just because he wasn't old enough to have the tattoos and this whole persona that people perceive him to be. Not saying that my boy, like, I rock with Slat, but it's like, not saying that he got as a persona, but people just see what they see, bro. They don't really pay attention to the underneath. He could have been doing his whole climb empire in between doing his funny shit and doing street shit at the same time though. Don't nobody really know. So before people start saying, oh man, why did he change his ways from doing this to doing that, like, I'm not even gonna sit here and judge dude, because nigga, I'm from the streets myself. So it's just like, you don't really know, my boy. No cap. It could have just been a cover up the whole time. You never know, bro. Like, for real, for real.
real life, sometimes the line gets blurry. The jokes start sounding like confessions. The skits start mirroring reality. And before you realize it, You're not just making fun of the lifestyle anymore, you're living inside it. At this stage, MK Slat wasn't famous yet. He wasn't rich, he wasn't on the radar, but the foundation was already there. A kid from a rough environment, a natural performer, in a world that rewards attention more than direction. And once the internet entered the picture, everything changed.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
When MK Slat
Bro, that
first
nigga was
touched the
funny, though. I
internet,
ain't gonna
it
lie.
wasn't
He was
on
funny
no
as shit.
industry timing, no management, no rollout, no plan. It was just a YN with a phone, Wi-Fi, and a sense of humor that felt too real to ignore. His skits didn't look polished, and that's exactly why they worked. MK wasn't doing scripted comedy like some influencer trying to be clean for brands. He was recreating real hood moments, the dumb arguments, the over-the-top reactions, the crash-out characters everybody recognizes from their block. The type of skits where you watching like, nah bro, I know somebody exactly like this. That authenticity made him different. While a lot of comedians online were exaggerating fake situations, MK was exaggerating real energy. Same slang, same facial expressions, same chaotic vibe. And because he grew up in it, it didn't feel forced, it felt natural. The algorithm loved that. Clips started circulating fast on Instagram and TikTok. One skit would pop, then another, then another. Next thing you know, MK Slat isn't just funny, he's recognizable. People quoting his lines, pages reposting him without credit, comments full of, this too real, and bro funny as hell. And for the
People can always relate to real shit. When you honest and you real about shit, that be the funniest shit, bro. Cause you can relate. It ain't the false shit that really be funny, like the made up shit though. It's just like, bro, I can relate to that, bro. So shit's hilarious to me, bro. So like, that's always gonna be, when you authentic and real, bro, that's always gonna be a plus, bro. You might not get the reach that you want, when you want it, when you need it, but eventually you will though. You just gotta keep that authenticity and keep grinding, bro. You feel me?
first time, MK had something most YNs from his environment don't get early on. Attention that paid. Views turned into followers, followers turned into money, and money turned into validation. That part is important. Because when you grow up broke or stressed, money doesn't just feel good, it feels like proof. Proof that you made it. Proof that you're doing something right. Proof that you're smarter than the system that tried to box you in. But the internet also comes with pressure. Once MK got known for a certain type of humor, street humor, crash out humor, switch jokes, drug jokes, that's what the audience expected. And every time he posted, he had to outdo the last one. So the skits started getting louder. The characters started getting wilder. The lines between parody and reality started thinning. At first, nobody saw it as dangerous. It was just jokes, just content. But slowly, his online persona stopped being a character and started becoming an identity. The same
Yes. Why wouldn't it be? You know what I mean? Like, in a lot of scenarios, bro, when you real, like at the end of the day, he was growing. He was a growing man, bro, at the end of the day, bro. So like that's gonna happen, bro. And nobody wants to be stuck doing the same thing, bro. Like that's why I like to be a variety streamer, you know, doing variety things, bro. I don't want to be latched to one thing and one thing only. I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Expand my horizons, bro. Same with him, bro. So like can't judge the man too much, bro. From like, bro, I don't want to keep doing this type of stuff, bro. Eventually you gonna grow out of it, bro, you know?
energy that made people laugh also started shaping how people saw him and how he saw himself. MK Slat was no longer just a funny dude from Alabama. He was the crash-out comedian, the exaggerated hood stereotype, the internet version of somebody who lives reckless. And the more the audience rewarded that image, the harder it became to separate it from real life. By this point, MK was winning, views were up, money was coming in, clout was real. But beneath the jokes, the environment never changed. And that's where the danger really started. At some point, the internet stopped laughing with MK Slat and started watching him closely. Because if you go back and really study the content, there was a shift. Not all at once, but enough that people who were paying attention could feel it. The skits didn't just reference street life anymore. They started flexing it. Jokes about switches turned into videos with real guns in the background. Funny exaggerations turned into imagery that felt less like parody and more like proof.
What going on? What happened, bitch?
Man, the boy had got the bump and the boy ended up hit me.
Who all the one?
Bro, Latair and them.
Terry.
Yeah.
Who else?
Man, I don't know who the other nigga was, boy.
Got to have the better clip.
And the character that once felt
He's a fool,
cartoonish started looking uncomfortably
to.
real. That's usually how it goes. When somebody grows up around a lifestyle, makes jokes about it, and then gets rewarded for those jokes, the brain starts mixing signals. The audience thinks it's entertainment. The creator starts thinking it's branding. And branding comes with expectations. MK's comments section changed. Instead of just laughing, people started hyping the image. He really liked that. This ain't just skits. Bro living what he rapping. That type of validation is dangerous, especially for a young dude who's still figuring himself out.
Bro, let's just be honest, bro. See, this is my thing. Goes back to what I was just saying just a little bit ago, bro. Like, Buddy might have been already in the streets, bro. So why not funnel it in a way where he could still make money, but make skits about being in the streets, bro? You feel what I'm saying? And like, of course, he's gonna do whatever he done. He probably was still doing what he was doing off camera when he was young. Ain't nothing changed, bro. He just ended up getting caught, bro. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, but I still figure it's smart in a scenario where he didn't just cut off because I'm not doing funny content no more. Let me just not make any content at all. He said, you know what? Let me make these hood skits. Get what I'm saying? And give the folks something. Give them something, bro. So like, I can't knock that, bro. I just can't. You can't. It's unfortunate though. You know what I mean? That he went through what he went through in the scenarios and everything. But like, my boy, you feel me? Like, man, give motherfuckers a break, bro. Internet be tripping too hard, bro.
Because now you're not just being
Motherfuckers
funny,
gonna make
you're
mistakes,
being
bro.
watched as a representation. And instead of stepping back, MK leaned into it. The tattoos started stacking up, including the infamous emoji-style ink that people clowned at first, then questioned later. His appearance got more aggressive.
Fuck what he got on his face. Fuck all that shit. They ain't got nothing to do with it. He grown. He can do that now. You feel me? He wasn't grown at first, so he couldn't do that. Makes a difference, bro. Well, he chose not to do it. Whatever the situation is, I still respect it. Like when you hit that age, where you can legally get a tattoo, bro, can't nobody tell you nothing, bro. Don't give a fuck about what people think.
His music leaned darker, his visuals got louder, parking lots, weapons, crash out energy everywhere. To the internet, it looked like an aesthetic. To law enforcement, it looked like evidence. And that's the part a lot of creators don't understand. The internet never forgets, and the feds don't care about jokes. Every post is a timestamp. Every video is a snapshot. Every just playing moment becomes context later. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, MK wasn't just a content creator anymore. He was moving in circles that didn't match the image of a comedian who had something to lose. And once you're known, you don't get the luxury of moving reckless quietly. That's where the first real danger signs pop up. Because when the persona you're selling online matches what investigators are already watching in real life, the internet stops being a stage and starts being a paper trail. Most fans didn't watch it. They just kept scrolling. But the shift had already happened. The comedian was still there, but now he was sharing space with something heavier, something riskier, something that didn't disappear when the camera cut off. And the moment the character became reality, the countdown had already started. At this point, MK wasn't just joking about drugs or switches anymore. He was around people who were really in it, people who didn't see the internet as a joke and definitely didn't see it as a shield. The more he leaned into that lifestyle, the more reckless the optics became. Guns in videos, aggressive music, visuals.
I can't even lie. That's where he should have. You can't joke about the videos. If you're making music videos, let me clear up what I was saying earlier. If you're making music videos, that's different than making skits about hood shit. You get what I'm saying? Plenty of people make skits about hood shit. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It's cool. But when you start dropping music video, that's a whole different thing, though, bro. So, like, that's where he made his mistake at. If he would have kept it cool and kept doing what he was doing in the first place, bro, then he would have been straight, just making the hood skits. The narcs, they ain't gonna look too much into that. You get what I'm saying? If you making hood skits, bro, and you known for making funny skits, bro. So like, come on, bro. But the music videos, G, with niggas and all you gotta do is be around the wrong motherfuckers, bro. You feel me? Like, oh, we know who that dude is, though. They might not have knew him for being in the streets, but they like, oh, you around this nigga, you start making videos, man. You tripping, G? You tripping? That's too far,
that
bro.
look less like comedy and more like statements. And here's the part a lot of YNs don't think about. When you're already known, everything you do hits harder. Police don't need rumors. They need patterns. And MK's pattern was loud. To law enforcement, this wasn't a comedian acting wild for views. It was someone with visibility repeatedly placing himself around illegal activity, posting it publicly, and daring the system to ignore it. That's when bigger eyes start watching. Federal eyes don't move fast, they move quiet. They collect, they wait, they build. When real life caught up. By the time MK Slat's name was ringing online, his real life was moving in a completely different direction, one that didn't care about views, followers, or viral skits. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Fame doesn't remove you from your environment. It just puts a spotlight on it. And MK never really left. While the internet still saw him as the funny YN playing character, people close to the situation say his lifestyle was starting to line up a little too well with the image he was posting. The same slang, the same references, the same energy, except now it wasn't just for content. This is usually how it happens. You get money, but not enough to fully separate. You get clout, but not enough to relocate. You get attention, but not enough protection. So instead of leaving the environment, you start mixing roles. Comedian online, street dude offline, and that's a dangerous balance. And by the time
That's where I don't agree with, bro. Mixing personas, mixing characters, bro. How you know that ain't who he is, bro? I can't agree with that. We don't know. You feel me? So people judging him from, oh man, he switched up to blah, man. You don't know that man, bro. You feel me? You can't judge that man, dog. Straight up, bro. Nigga made some mistakes. It is what it is. You feel me? Shit, that's some shit he gotta live with. Why y'all judging so hard when it's something he gotta live with? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that ain't it.
time the internet started clowning MK for being too extra, the investigation was already deeper than anyone realized. Because while fans were laughing and critics were calling it self-snitching, street life doesn't care if you're famous. It only cares if you're involved. And once those two worlds fully collided, there was no way out that didn't end ugly. The raid wasn't random. The charges weren't sudden. They were the result of time, attention, and a lifestyle that got documented too well. And when the knock finally came, it came heavy. In December 2023, everything MK Slat had been building online and offline came to a hard stop. Early in the morning, around 7 a.m., multiple law enforcement agencies pulled up to a residence in Irondale, Alabama to execute a search warrant connected to an ongoing narcotics investigation. This wasn't a random bust. This wasn't local cops acting on a tip. This was coordinated. According to official reports, the operation involved the Leeds Police Department, the Irondale Police Department, and later drew attention from federal agencies, including the ATF and Homeland Security. Inside the residence, officers took multiple individuals into custody, including MK Slat real name Markel Demetrius Holmes, along with several associates. What they allegedly found is what changed everything. Police reported recovering multiple firearms, including Glocks, equipment used to convert semi-automatic weapons into fully automatic firearms, commonly known as switches. Illegal narcotics, including fentanyl and methamphetamine, drug packaging materials, and paraphernalia.
Formerly
According to
called
authorities, the
switches.
residence was
Looking at it.
allegedly being used as a drug packaging and distribution location, not just a place people were hanging out. That distinction matters because possession is one thing, trafficking is another, and modifying firearms pushes it into a whole different category. Law enforcement publicly stated that the scale of what was recovered suggested organized activity, not personal use. That's when the narrative officially shifted from internet comedian arrested to something much more serious.
Muriel Bailey here at the live desk. 5 people face charges after a drug bust in Irondale, and one of them is a popular social media influencer. 21-year-old Marqueris Holmes is charged with 2 counts of drug trafficking and possession charges. Holmes has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and thousands on TikTok, known to many as Slimeball MK. 4 others face drugs and weapons charges as well. Police say they found fully automatic weapons, drugs, and stolen property during a search warrant at a house in Irondale.
The bond amounts told the story before the internet even caught up. Some defendants were hit with bonds in the hundreds of thousands. MK Slat himself was reportedly given a multi-million-dollar bond. That's not normal. Once firearms with switches are involved, the federal government doesn't treat it lightly. A single switch can carry mandatory prison time on the federal level. Combine that with narcotics trafficking, and suddenly the situation goes from state trouble to career-ending consequences. While the internet was still trying to figure out what happened, the system was already moving. This wasn't a content moment. This wasn't a headline that fades in a week. This was the type of case that changes lives permanently.
Shit,
And as
you ain't
news
lying.
spread, fans started realizing something uncomfortable. The jokes didn't protect him, the clout didn't slow it down, and the internet didn't help it hurt. Because now every old post looks different. Every skit, every flex, and every visual, all of it became context. MK Slat's story isn't rare, it's just public. It shows how fast clout can turn into a trap. How
It's unfortunate,
self-snitching
bro.
doesn't feel dangerous when the algorithm rewards it, and how the system doesn't care if you were just joking. Once the persona controls you, the ending usually isn't yours to write. If you a YN, a creator, or anybody chasing attention, understand this. The internet never forgets, and the streets don't care who you are online.
That's facts. Damn. That's a crazy video though, man. Hopefully all is well with him, bro. Blessings to him and his, bro. You feel me? So I appreciate y'all for tapping in, bro. We'll be back with another reaction video. Appreciate y'all for liking, subscribing, tapping in, watching, bro. I get it y'all in the next one. Peace.